The government is calling this a revolution in education, and it's the third major capital project announced this year, following on from the new sporting facilities and the new affordable homes.
I think that what we will be presenting to you will touch pupils of every single age range in Gibraltar schools. We'll be dealing from the very early stages of nursery years to A-level education and college education in Gibraltar. So everybody who is in contact with the educational system in Gibraltar from the age of 4 to the age of 18 and beyond will, I think, be positively touched by this announcement and the work that is going to be undertaken in the next 24 plus months.
This project is timed to be ready for the start of term in September 2019.
It's going to be a challenge. I think we are well up to it. I think certainly the teaching profession, who are working, committed, because they're going to have to do a lot of work, and it's not just buildings, it's changing lots of things that we're doing. I think it's ambitious, but I think it's achievable, and we're going to be quite busy.
The first programme will see a new Notre Dame and new St. Anne's School in Laguna Estates. This will include a new youth club for the estate and the reconstruction of the adventure playground. The second programme involves decanting Westside School and converting it into a newly refurbished home for Governor's Meadow, Bishop Fitzgerald and St. Martin's schools. These will benefit from a large joint sports hall and playing fields. And the third programme will see two new co-educational comprehensive schools at Waterport. Two different schools, both of them co-education. How will you decide which child goes where?
Well, in the whole of the process, we are talking to the teachers in two ways, through their head teachers and to the subject heads and leads and so on, and also to the Teachers Association, which we're engaged with and who will continue to give us their advice and represent their members as we take this forward and we refine the detail. I think that's very important. It's likely that we will go by schools feeding into one or the other comprehensive. Whether it's the same school every year or whether we alternate in order to get more of a balance, but they will both be brand new schools of equal standard with equally proficient and excellent teachers, so there won't be much to choose from. But we will do it in a responsible way and always consulting the profession.
The GSD will now turn around and say, well, you criticised us for coming up with the concept of a large co-education school, but you're pretty much doing the same thing now, except you're dividing it into two schools. Would that criticism be fair? It
won't be. It's a completely different concept. They were looking at one so-called mega school or maxi school or whatever it is that it was called at the time. These are two separate schools with two separate identities.
The most high profile of the changes, of course, will be the introduction of co-education, which will start in the two separate comprehensive schools there will be. That is obvious. It's an issue that's been debated in the Parliament. It's going to be very visible when you see boys and girls going to the same comprehensive establishment. But there is a lot underlying the announcement of key stages and a lot underlying these physical changes that you will see.
And there will be a central library, which is good because that provides more resources for all the children and the young people. But it is clearly two separate schools with their own cultures, with their own ways of doing things, not one.
Another new facility will be purpose-built at Devil's Tower Road, next to the Cross of Sacrifice for the Gibraltar College. The final programme will be the refurbishment of St. Paul's, St. Mary's, St. Joseph's and Hebrew schools. As part of the overall project, hot meals will be introduced into all schools, together with expanded vocational pathways, the realignment of key stages and nursery education for all children.
Education is an investment in the future, and I think the announcement the government has made today reaffirms our absolute commitment to the education of our children going forward.
All schools will go through the town planning process, and the Teachers Association, NESUWT, will be consulted as the project develops.